This is a recording of this year's Virtual Residency Fair. We'd like to take the time to thank the programs that volunteered their time to present to this year's applicants. This year's PM&R Scholars Virtual Residency Fair is supported by PM&R Recap and Ultrasound Guidance. PM&R Recap is the leading resource for your physiatry board preparation, clinical preparation, audition rotations, and beyond. PM&R Recap offers 35 hours of review videos, hundreds of review questions, and oral board cases to help you become the best physiatrist that you can be. Head to pmnrrecap.com to learn more. Ultrasound Guidance is the innovative new online ultrasound learning platform that gives you instant access to expert instruction. With rapid scans and complete scans of every joint and peripheral nerve, Ultrasound Guidance is the perfect way to jumpstart your MSK ultrasound learning. Visit ultrasoundguidance.com to learn more.
All right, we'll get to the title slide and we'll get started here.
Get a nice preview here. While we're loading this, my name's Trenton Vandewater. I'm one of the PGY4s here and a co-chief with Eric.
All righty, here we go. So we're from the Medical College of Wisconsin. Like Trenton said, my name's Eric, one of the co-chiefs. So I'll start us off here. A little bit about our program in general. So we have 18 residents, 6 per class, starting PGY 2 through 4, from a variety of different places across the U.S., Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, California, Colorado, Ohio, Virginia, and Florida. The bottom picture right there is a picture at one of our retreats last year. And then obviously we have a picture of Trent and I there at one of our education sessions. We had some paraffin wax on our hands. So program leadership, right in the middle there is Dr. Karen Goodfriend. She is our program director. And to the sides of her, we have Dr. Kitsonis, which is one of our associate program directors who works at the VA, and Dr. Ball, who is a newer associate program director. She went to residency here at MCW and also did a fellowship in spinal cord injury, and we kept her on as staff. A couple more people to mention. So Sue Abrams, she's our program coordinator. She is incredible. We could not run this program without her. And then we have Dr. Diane Braza, who is our department chair. So a little bit more about our clinical sites. So our 2 main sites right now would be our Frederick Blue Mound Rehab Hospital, our freestanding facility, which we'll talk about it a little bit, and the Clement J. Zablocki VA Hospital. We used to spend a lot of time at Frederick Hospital, but since we opened up our new freestanding facility, we just have a couple of clinics and our consult rotation over there. It's the level 1 trauma center that is part of the medical system. And we also spend several months at Children's Hospital Wisconsin as well, which is a level 1 children's hospital in our area. We do both inpatient and outpatient rotations at Children's Hospital. So a little bit about our program design. Most of our rotations are 2 months, but we have occasional 1-month rotations as well. Located all throughout those clinics that I had mentioned. A little bit more about our Blue Mound Rehab Hospital. So last year, we just had our 1-year anniversary actually a couple months ago. So we recently transitioned to our standalone inpatient rehab facility. It is a 50-bed. We're working up our census right now. I think we're at about 30 with plans to increase all the way in the near future here. That is where you do about half of your inpatient rotations. The other ones are at the VA hospital. So a little bit more about the breakdown and highlights. So we have 12 total inpatient months, 3 consult months, and 21 outpatient months. The elective months are split between PGY 3 and PGY 4. We do have 1 outpatient month during PGY 2, otherwise it's pretty inpatient heavy. We have 4 total months of EMG that's split half between PGY 3 and PGY 4. And the 3 and the 4 work together during that rotation. The 4 provides some of that senior guidance to get the 3 running, and you work together during those months. We have 2 months of dedicated sports medicine clinic. We have 2 months of spasticity clinic with some world-renowned faculty. And we have 4 months of pain medicine / spine as well. And throughout all of our outpatient months, we're getting plenty of procedural experience, everything from ultrasound guided injections, fluoroscopy guided injections, neurotoxin injections on the spasticity clinic. So we have no problem at all meeting our procedural guidelines. So call. So we are home call. I'm actually currently on call, so let's all have our fingers crossed that this does not go off, or Trent will be taking over sooner rather than later. So how our call is split up. So we have week call, that's Monday through Thursday. That's just in the evenings into the morning. That covers services at our freestanding facility and at the VA. We also have weekend call that goes from Friday 5 p.m. to Monday 8 a.m. We have 1 resident that covers our spinal cord inpatient rotation at the VA and also their general service. And we have 2 residents split the services at our Blue Mound rehab facility. We schedule our call so that it's a decreasing burden throughout residency. PGY2 gets the most, it's 12 weekends and 5 weeks. We do make sure that there's 2 months into your PGY2 year before you start taking calls, so you're able to get your feet wet and understand how our system works. PGY3, a little bit less, you have 8 to 9 weekends and 3 to 4 week calls, and then PGY4, only 4 to 5 weekends and no week calls. And if you are not on call, your weekends and your evenings are completely off. You don't have to worry about any sort of coverage. Very, very, very rarely you'll have to come in after hours. I don't think anyone since we have been residents have needed to come in. All right, I think this is my last one before Trenton takes over. So some educational activities. So we do have weekly academic half day that happens on Wednesdays. We follow a 12-month cycle of various high yield board relevant things. Currently, we're in our MSK/sports month. We do them generally about 4-week rotations, and just have a bunch of our attendings come through and give us the high yield presentations. We have year-long anatomy and physical exam lectures from Dr. Katsonis, our assistant PD. We also have EMG didactics, our 3rd and 4th year. We do have 6 months of hands-on ultrasound that happens PGY 2 through 4, and some of our ultrasound trained attendings lead us through that. We've got monthly faculty-led board review, monthly journal club, and then we do weekly neuro case conferences that the residents present some interesting cases or relevant topics to our group. And then we also have M&M that we usually get about 2 to 3 during our training. And this is just a quick picture of all of our educational activities. Dr. Katsonis is in the top left, working with Dr. Ketchum, doing some EMG of the face. We have journal club pictures in there. In the middle, we're doing some education on adaptive sports. So just a wide variety of things here.
And just kind of a breakdown of where some of our graduates go. You can see in the more recent years, we've really shifted toward doing really well in terms of fellowship matching. Last year, 5 of our 6 residents matched into fellowship. That includes anything from, so last year we had one pain management, 2 sports medicine, and 2 spinal cord injury. And the last one went straight into practice around here. Oh, here we go. As you can see, so 5 of our 6 last year, 5 the 6th year before. So really preparing us well for fellowship matching in a wide variety of stuff. In our class, it's not up there, but Daniel Jin, one of our residents, he already matched into a neuromuscular fellowship. So kind of preparing us well for no matter what fellowship you're wishing to pursue, and also the workforce as well. Sorry, I'm struggling with the buttons here a little bit. Within the residency program itself, kind of two intensive tracks for either research or medical education. So obviously there's enough time dedicated to both of these things within residency in general, but if you have a special interest in one of these, extra time that's protected from rotations and additional funding. So for the research, that includes working on a specific research project that they help you to present and publish, and the medical education track. That time booked more for getting more involved in departmental education, including journal time or supporting didactics that you're presenting or other things that you might be presenting at a national conference or other learning opportunities. There we go. Moving on to life in Milwaukee. So we're the largest city in Wisconsin. We got a population of about 600,000 in the city itself, and then over 1.5 million in the greater area. We're right on Lake Michigan. And Milwaukee's beautiful on its own, but we know people like to travel. So we're pretty centrally located between Chicago, Madison, as you guys always heard about, and Green Bay, all pretty much accessible by car. And then even to Chicago, there's an Amtrak, a train that takes you right there. That's super easy and accessible. We got a video in there for the slide set. We're not gonna watch that right now, but as you can see, a beautiful shot from Lake Michigan here looking at Milwaukee. The big kind of selling point is probably the lakefront, so right on Lake Michigan. It's beautiful year round, but especially in the summer. You can see downtown, you can see Discovery World in the bottom left, a bunch of boats in the harbor, the marina, and then right along the beachfront there. I know plenty of residents that are involved in beach volleyball leagues and other things like Bradford Beach are great for just going out in the summer. Pretty much anything you'd like to do. Speaking of those seasons, again, summer on the lake is beautiful, but winter in the middle there, fall, nice foliage, and then got a nice farm pick on the bottom left because we couldn't leave that out in Wisconsin. And then in the bottom right at Summerfest, it's the world's largest music festival right here in Milwaukee. Always packed, always a great time. Pretty much any genre of music or anyone you like to listen to, you can probably find someone up your alley there.
Don't be afraid of the winters here in Milwaukee. You'll hear it all the time if you come here, but we have the lake effect from Lake Michigan, which keeps them pretty mild. So you get the best of both worlds, a little bit of cold, a little bit of snow, but it's not too bad.
100% agree. And then in the summer, especially, I mean, every festival known to mankind you can find here. I already talked about Summerfest, but Festa Italiana is one of the oldest ones in the country here. Polish Fest, Greek Fest, Oktoberfest. I'm not gonna go through all of them, but pretty much anything you can think of, there's a festival for it here in Wisconsin, and it's always a good time. A lot of them are held down at the Summerfest grounds, so plenty of space, great food, great music. Pretty much something to do every weekend here in Milwaukee. And as you can see by Eric and my shirts, we're huge sports fans. We're actually both applying for sports medicine this year. And there's plenty of sports related things to do in Milwaukee and in Wisconsin, as our colleagues mentioned as well. Right here in Milwaukee, we've got the Milwaukee Brewers, the Milwaukee Bucks from professional sports teams, the Milwaukee Wave and Milwaukee Admirals, a couple of semi-pro teams, Admirals hockey, the Wave soccer, and then the Green Bay Packers, not too far up north. Super accessible. I know Eric and I have been to plenty of Bucks games, a couple of Admirals games as well, and then pretty easy to get out to Packers games and whatnot too.
Talk about sports coverage.
Yeah. Kind of speaking of sports, we have plenty of sports coverage opportunities. Anything from the high school level covering, I know we both and other residents have covered high school football, high school soccer, and that's anything from week to week games to the WIA state championship games, swimming and diving, from both the boys and girls divisions. There is a semi-professional sports team, the Milwaukee FC Torrent, that we've covered, and a couple of college wrestling tournaments as well. And so there's plenty of sports faculty that are super well versed in local sports going on and are super willing to let us get our feet wet in terms of doing stuff like that. Other stuff that we do as a residency program, Fantasy Football League. I'm the commissioner. Eric runs the NCAA tournament bracket. Residents in a couple of softball and soccer leagues. We have a tailgate at the Brewers game with nursing staff to get everyone together. People are involved in a bunch of different races. We have socials on Thursdays. And then we throw a great holiday party department, which no pictures from that. You'd have to come see and find out.
All right. So one of the really cool things that we do as a program, we have faculty that essentially helps run the National Veterans Wheelchair Games. Dr. Lee is the director of the medical side of things. So I was fortunate enough to go this most recent year in Portland to provide medical coverage and do my research project. So it's a week long. We have adaptive athletes from all over the country come in and compete in events. And we help out providing sports coverage throughout all of the events. Here is, we're very well known at the National Veterans Wheelchair Games, the Wisconsin team, because we wear our cow shirts. So I have my cow shirt out there in the bottom left picture. That's our team from this most recent year. But we keep bringing that back every year. And cow says no.
And then just kind of a smorgasbord of things that we do as residents. So all these are with our mentor groups who they're kind of informal ways to get all the classes together. In the top left, there's one of our EMG faculty shocking our co-resident Colton's neck, looking at Herb's Point, kind of doing some wheelchair adaptive sports stuff. There's us in this near the bottom left. Here's us in our workroom having the med student try some of the thickened liquids. And then you can see a couple other get-togethers there. But, you know, we have both scheduled and non-scheduled time with our co-residents. Everyone really does enjoy being together. Here's a couple more things from retreats. I think the top left is Six Flags, grabbing drinks in the middle, in the bottom right on the MKE River. We're playing whirly ball up there in the top right, and then some more board games along the bottom. So definitely a pretty tight-knit family. And then here, as you can tell, we really like doing stuff together. Up at the Brewers game, Bucks game, getting together at family houses, like another one at the Bucks game. One of our department faculty's cabin up in the top. And then I think that's Dave and Buster's down at the left. And then, of course, families are welcome. Not everyone has a family, but plenty of our residents do. There's Hakeem with his puppy. There's Raghav and Will with their spouses and their dog. Sarah, one of our PGY2s with her husband and children. And then Daniel up in the top right, that's Clark. He's kind of our unofficial mascot of the program. And then Papa and his wife with their kids there.
So we'll just very quickly, I know we're short on time, but there's plenty of places to live. We've got the third ward in the east side, really beautiful apartments downtown. This word. And then Wauwatosa is actually just like a suburb, 10 minutes to the west of Milwaukee. That's where the actual Medical College of Wisconsin campus is. So just some more pictures from over there. So I know we're sure we'll kind of get through this. Key points, great city to do your training, very fun, safe, a ton of things to do around here. We're a very family-friendly program. Program leadership is very responsive to any feedback, and yeah, we'll kind of leave it there.
Here's our info. So after this, if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I don't think we have a slide in there, but we've got an Instagram and Twitter account, MCW PM&R. But yeah, it's been great presenting to you. We'll see if we got any questions in the chat here. What's that? Yeah, good. All right, I don't see any. But like I said, if you guys come up with some later or ever have any questions or want to chat, don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to hear from you.
Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate your time.